everyone, welcome to my classes. From today I will be dealing with class 11 biology for you all. So I will start from the first chapter, that is the living world. Alright, so let's start. So the first topic is your biodiversity. So what do you mean by biodiversity? So biodiversity is nothing but the richness, the richness, be it a plant, animals or microorganism living in a surrounding area, in a particular area, the richness, the variety which we are having in a particular area, that is called biodiversity. So it is saying in this definition that biodiversity describes the richness, is talking about richness, be it a plant, animal, microorganism, anything, living in and around, the variety it is talking about, and the variety of life on earth. So this is called biodiversity. So it is a complex system, we know. It is having different components like plants also there, animals also there, microbes also there. So it is a complex system, and important feature of our planet. Without this, our planet won't be there, as a living planet. So without biodiversity, life would not sustain. So we need biodiversity for the sustenance of life. Clear about the definition of biodiversity? Alright, so moving on to the next slide. These are some few facts which you have to know for like entrance exam perspective. Like the first point is, insect forms the largest group of biodiversity. So out of all the categories like mammals, aves, reptiles, amphibians, fish, etc. So out of all the categories, insect forms the largest group, means insect diversity is highest in the whole world. Clear? So the next point says that majority of species diversity is found in which type of forest? It is tropical rainforest. So forest can be categorized into different forests, deciduous forest, tropical forest, rainforest, this one, and thorn forest, many, tundra forest, or many are there, forest categories. So in this particular type of forest, tropical rainforest, you can find maximum number of species diversity. So you have to know the biodiversity in our whole world is 1.7 to 1.8 million, the number you have to know. This picture is showing, I have given so that you get to know that how the insect diversity is. A variety of insects is shown in this picture. So moving on to the next slide. So this one I have put out a screenshot from IUCN Red List. You can visit their website where you can see the details of many organisms, like their extinction rate and all. So it is saying that 42,100 species are threatened with extinction now. This is the current data. And the maximum percentage we can see in cycads. Cycads are circus-like plants, circus plant. So this one is, this category of species is highly threatened, and rest percentage I have shown it here. 41% for amphibians, mammals 27%, conifers 34%, birds 13%, like that. So for reptiles, other crustaceans, coral reefs, sharks and rays are also given. So just you have to know this one. So maximum percentage of higher rate of extinction, which are threatened to extinction, is of the cycads category. Clear? So you can also visit their website, IUCN Red List. I have given in this one below, I have given, already mentioned here. So you can visit this website and see different values. So moving on to the next slide, I have shown a picture of cycads. You have seen it's used to grow in your house, also in your pots used to grow this circus plant, used to say in common. Now moving on to the next slide. These are some extra knowledge which I am giving you. For your entrance perspective also it will be helpful for you. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. So now we'll discuss about classification. What is the need for classification? Okay, so why you need to classify organism into plants and animals, or like bacteria, different categories, virus, different categories? Why you need to do that? So you have to know. Okay, so next slide we'll discuss what is the need, what is the important for classification. Okay, so few points will the important points only I have given in the slide, which you have to know what is the need for classification, okay, into different categories of organisms. Okay, the first point it is saying classification is needed for the convenience study, so that our study becomes easier. Okay, that's why we need to do the classification. The next point is it is necessary for knowing the different variety of organism. So while doing classification we get to know the variety. Okay, understood? Now moving on to the third point, it helps in the correct identification of various organisms. It also helps in the identification of the organism, various type of, that to correct identification. Understanding? Now coming to the fourth point, it helps to know the origin. We get to know the origin and evolution of organism. We can draw a taxonomic hierarchy through the process of classification. Okay, we get to know the origin of that particular organism. We get to know the evolution of that particular organism. Getting my point? Okay, let me move this above. Okay, so moving on to the last point, it is essential to understand the interrelationship among different groups of organisms. So we get to know the interrelationship while we are doing the classification. We can interrelate with different organisms. Okay, different categories we can interlink. Getting my point? So the first point it is saying for the convenience study, easier study, and the second point it is saying that we get a different varieties. Third point it is saying for the correct identification. Fourth point it is saying we get to know the origin and evolution of that particular organism. And the last point it is saying we get to know the interrelationship between two different categories of organisms. Clear? You can take a screenshot of it. These are very important points why we need to classify different organisms into different categories. Okay. So likewise, many scientists and philosophers have classified the organism into different categories. Like first of all, they have classified into 2 kingdoms, 3 kingdoms, 4 kingdoms, like that. Okay, so we'll in the next slide we'll discuss about that. Okay, can we move on to the next slide? Okay. So we'll study one by one the name of few scientists who has contributed in the classification. Okay, the first one will be Aristotle. You know, he is a very famous philosopher. So he is the one, Aristotle. So what he did, he was the first who attempted for the contribution for the classification. Okay, he was known as Aristotle. He was a famous philosopher. He has classified plant as shrubs, herbs and trees. Okay, and animals he classified on the basis of presence or absence of red blood cells, RBC cells. Okay, so what he did, so Aristotle classified organisms. So okay, Aristotle classified organisms into 2 different categories. That is, first plants, okay, then animals. And plants he has categorized into 3 different categories. That is herbs, shrubs and trees. Okay. And animals, what he did, he classified animals into the one which are having RBCs, red blood cells, and one which are not having RBCs. Are you getting my point? And he was the one who first contributed in the classification process. Getting my point? Okay. Hopefully you are understanding. So this is the theory part. You can take a screenshot of it. Okay. So next, moving on to the next slide. So this is the two kingdom classification was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Okay, so what he did, he categorized and classified living organism on the basis of nutrition and mobility. Okay, he took 2 points, one nutrition and one mobility. Nutrition means, when you talk about nutrition is of 2 different types, that is autotrophic nutrition and heterotrophic nutrition. You know about it. Autotrophic means they make their own food with the process of photosynthesis. They take up sunlight and make their own food. And heterotrophic, they rely on other for food. Understood? So based on nutrition, they have classified, and based on mobility means whether a particular organism is moving or is sessile. Sessile means attached to the substratum, not moving, like plants. Okay, so what he classified into 2 kingdom, that is kingdom plantae, that is animal, that is plant, sorry for that, and kingdom animal. Okay, so plant, we know they are autotrophic and they are not mobile. They don't move. They will be in a particular position attached. Okay, and kingdom animalia means they are having which mode of nutrition? They are heterotrophic. They don't make their own food. They depend on other for their food. Okay, and they show mobility. They move from one place to another. Getting my point? So this is the 2 kingdom classification given by Carolus Linnaeus. Clear? So now moving on to the 3rd kingdom classification. The 3 kingdom classification was given by Ernest Haeckel. He was the scientist, Ernest Haeckel. So he has given the 3 kingdom classification, that is kingdom Animalia, the animals, kingdom Plantae, the plants, and kingdom Protista, that means algae, all the algae. Okay, so what he did, he from the 2 kingdom classification by Carolus Linnaeus, he had added one more classification, that is they have Ernest Haeckel has given one more new kingdom, that is kingdom Protista. Getting my point? Now can we move on to the next slide? Okay, now 4 kingdom classification which was given by Copland. Okay, so what he has added here, what he added? Monerans. Monerans means all the bacteria. Okay, so he has given 4 kingdom classification: kingdom Monerans, where all the bacteria are there; kingdom Protista, where all the algae are there; kingdom Plantae, where all the plants are there; and kingdom Animalia, where all the animals are there. Getting my point? Okay, now moving on to the next slide. Now this is important. The 5 kingdom classification, which was given by R.H. Whitaker. You have to know the year also when he has given, 1969. Okay, so what he did, he formed a basis of classification on the basis of what he took the characteristics, like he took cell structure, what is the structural design of the cell, then mode of nutrition, I have already discussed autotrophic and heterotrophic, 2 modes of nutrition. Okay, and sources of nutrition, from where the nutrition is coming, and the body organization. Okay, so he has taken this 4 characteristics to classify this cell structure, mode of nutrition, source of nutrition, and body organization for the classification process. He has given 5 kingdom classification in 1969. Clear? By R.H. Whitaker. Okay, so next slide we'll see his classification, 5 kingdom classification. So this is the 5 kingdom classification which he has given. So kingdom 5, Animalia, the animals. Okay, he has put in one category, And plantae, all the plants he has put in one category. Fungi he has put in one particular category. This category he has given the new one. Okay, then bacteria, the monerans, okay, he has given in one particular categories, and protista he has given in one particular category. Okay, clear? This is the 5 kingdom classification given by R.H. Whittaker. So all the classification process, what is the need of classification we did, and what are the different scientists involved in the classification process we did till 5 kingdom classification we need in this chapter. Okay, so next slide will discuss about few characteristics of living organism. Okay, understanding? Okay, let us move on to the next slide. So these are few characteristics of living beings. So you have to know these characteristics are very important. The first is your growth. Okay, so this is exceptional case. Growth we can see in both living also, non-living also. Living also, non-living also we can see growth. How? Okay, so we have different terminologies for it. So the one, intrinsic growth means the growth which we can see in the living creature only. Like we are growing from a baby to an adult, we are growing. Okay, animal is also growing from a baby to adult. A bird is also growing from baby to adult, etc., etc. Okay, so all living organisms shows intrinsic growth. Clear? Now next type of growth is extrinsic growth, which we can see only in living organism. Like how? Mountains are growing or not? Mountains used to grow. Mount Everest is growing even. Understanding? So growth is the feature, is the characteristics features where in both living and non-living we can see, and based on that we have classified growth into 2 different names, that is intrinsic growth for living organism and extrinsic growth for non-living organism. Clear? So this is the first characteristics of living organism, growth. Okay, the next one, growth we did. The next one, reproduction. Reproduction we can find in only living organism. Okay, the baby production. The non-living one cannot do baby production. A mountain or a river can't make babies. Only human beings, animals, birds, fishes, etc. they only can produce babies. All the living creatures can only produce. Okay, understanding this point? Okay, the next point, third point will come, metabolism. Metabolism is nothing but we have food. Okay, the breakdown of food, there is chemical reaction is happening inside our body and we are getting energy. The food is getting inside our body and we are getting energy. Okay, that is called metabolism. So the definition is saying the sum total of all the chemical reaction occurring in our body is called metabolism. The sum total of all the chemical reaction occurring. We are having food and all the chemical reaction is occurring and we are getting energy. So here I have given changes food to energy. Okay, so this is an example of metabolism. So this we can find only in living creature. In non-living creature we can't find. For example, this is a pen. This is not eating to gain energy, but I am having food to gain energy. Getting my point? Okay, so understood the concept of metabolism? Okay, so moving on to the fourth point, what it is saying, cellular structure. Cellular structure means cell structure it is saying. So we know that a particular cell, the main three important parts of a cell is nucleus, cytoplasm and cell membrane. Understood? And we have different organelles also inside the cytoplasm. You have ribosomes, you have mitochondria, you have endoplasmic reticulum, you have Golgis, etc. Okay, this is an animal cell which I am showing. Even in plant cell also it is there. Okay, so it is having some structure, cellular structure. Cell is having some structure. Okay, so all the living beings is having cellular structure, but you can't find cellular structure in a particular non-living organism. Okay, in rivers, in a stone, a particular stone, you can't see cells. Can you find cells in a stone? Non-living creature? No, you can't find. Only in living organism only you can find. Okay, be like the plants and animals will have nucleus, but bacteria will have nucleoids. The cytoplasm and cell membrane can be seen in both in all bacteria and even plants and animals, like that. Okay, understood the cellular structure concept? Okay. Now moving on to the last point, that is consciousness. These characteristics we can see only in living organism. Conscious, they are conscious. I am conscious about myself. I am conscious about my family. I am conscious about my students. Even you are conscious about your studies, like that. For example, I have given an example for human beings only. So for example, birds are also conscious. Suppose a bird is there. Okay, I suppose I went near the bird. The bird used to fly away, no? The bird used to be scared. Okay, why? Because birds are also conscious that we don't harm them, understanding. But that consciousness you can't find in a particular stone or a river or mountain. If we go near a stone, it won't run away. Okay, because they don't have that consciousness, understanding. So this consciousness feature we can only find in the living organism only. So these are the 5 important points, characteristics of a living organism, which you have to keep in mind: growth, reproduction, metabolism, cellular structure, and consciousness. Okay, so you can take a screenshot of it. Hopefully you are understanding each and every point. So this video is part 1 of chapter 1. So I will be making more parts on this chapter, so that I complete the chapter in small videos. Okay, so thank you very much for your patient hearing.